Wolverine, the footwear company, who in addition to their own brand, also own Merrell, Saucony, Sperry, Hush Puppies, and Keds. They acquired the UK-founded athleisure brand Sweaty Betty to expand into the rapidly growing female apparel category. So this was a $410 million cash deal that closed on Monday. And the Sweaty Betty co-founder and CEO Julia Strauss will still be with the business and will report to the Wolverine CEO. Sweaty Betty, for those of you who are not familiar, started as a London-based D2C brand and currently has 65 stores throughout the world. Now, James, A&M Consumer and Retail Group, they like to pick a question at random and put us on the spot. So every week, they put us in their shoes, serving up a consumer retail industry related question, similar to the questions that they tackle to help ensure the clients that they're working with end up on the right side of retail disruption. So their question for us is this: the acquisition of apparel brands by footwear companies has not always maintained a successful track record. What, James, do we think are the potential pitfalls that Wolverine needs to avoid to set Sweaty Betty up for profitable growth?
This is a great question, and it speaks to probably what I would have said anyway. I haven't dug too deep into this deal, but all of the brands that Wolverine owns have something in common: their shoes. So that seems to be their expertise. I'm actually a fan of Sweaty Betty. I've been to the flagship in London, which is awesome. Just as an aside, they have F&B. They've got like a restaurant. They do workout classes. It's really cool. They had probably like 12 stores in the US, but they closed them, I think, during COVID. So anyway, two things. One, not shoes. So now it's time to expand your expertise into apparel, which is related, but it is different. And number two, now is a time where athleisure has been super hot because of COVID. And we're just on the cusp of getting back into the workplace. And I'm a little worried. I don't think athleisure is going to suddenly not be hot anymore, but I think it's going to kind of transition away from that, just because our next big apparel purchases should be, I think, return to work, return to school.
Right. I completely agree. Yeah, that was kind of what came to my mind too, James. I mean, the first thing I could think of in response to that question was I would also avoid rapid expansion of the brand. Like I would not be like trying to go and open Sweaty Betty's, in 100 locations across the US. I specifically don't think that I'd be reopening physical stores in the US. They have a presence inside several Nordstrom stores in the US and Canada. And so I think I would continue again. Like I think retailers still have this runway for the next couple of years to experiment where people are going to understand that, we've been through a pandemic. You're just starting to get to understand consumer habits again. And so I think that I would see what that shift looks like, what the return to work wardrobe looks like, and see, what you can gather still from your Nordstrom locations. And then I would say, look at experimentation more online. What can you start to introduce limited editions of or drops specifically for the Sweaty Betty online customer so that you can test the waters for that crossover market and again, see where the demand is online before you start, blowing up with Wolverine apparel. I think if they are going to do it, that's why I was suggesting, like, do you go for the drops and you're doing something that's more fashion over function, especially for the Sweaty Betty customer? I feel like that would be where I would be testing